Cameron Ciraldo has slam suggestions. He's demanding too much from his team. After one player walked away from the club after being punished for arriving late to training, the coach says the standards have to change if the Bulldogs are any chance of becoming a powerhouse once again.
Nothing comes without hard work. This club is built on hard work. That's what drew me to this club, and that's what we're trying to instill back into this place. We've been losing, so clearly the culture's not exactly right. The system is only one part of the results on the weekend. The main part of the result is the culture. It's a pretty sensitive issue, and yeah, I won't be commenting on that one. At different times we've put some standards in place, and obviously, you know, if you're late, we have to do something about that. We've gone through a range of different ways of talking about holding standards. Some of that's been monetary related, some of it's been spinning a wheel, and then some of it's been trying to find ways to change behaviours. The reality is we need to change behaviours here, and we'll continue to find ways where we can change behaviours to winning behaviours. I don't know about this toxic culture. Obviously there's some people that don't want to buy into what we're doing, but I don't think it's a great amount of people. It's not a widespread thing. There might be a couple of guys that don't agree with the direction we're going, but we've got some people, I'm surrounded by people that know what winning looks like. They come from good systems. I'm surrounded by people that have been at the Bulldogs and won premierships at the Bulldogs, and they know what this club's built on, and I'll listen to those people.
Have players come to you expressing concerns about the workload here?
No. We have one long day a week, and if you get the last massage, you're probably leaving at 5:30. The days are longer at the place I was previously. Well, it's all rumours. It's all text message rumours and things like that. No one's come to me and told me they complain about long days. Like the long days, we've got a flag group in here that do weights at 5 o'clock in the morning, go and work for 10 hours and come back and do field at 5:30 in the afternoon. That's a long day. It's hard to address those rumours because no one's come to me and said anything, but if there are people that don't want to work hard and don't want to tick every box to win NRL games, then they don't have to be here. One thing that won't change is my attitude towards hard work and understanding that that's what's going to get us to where we need to go.
I think Gus said when you signed and you wished that you waited and offered you the opportunity to wait another 12 months before you came here. Do you wish you had? Or?
No, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here now. I'm glad this isn't happening in 12 months' time. I feel really sorry for the fans that we are where we are, but while it doesn't seem like we've taken steps forward this year on the same wins as last year, we definitely haven't taken steps back. We know where we're going. If you're willing to work hard and make sacrifices and stick to the winning standards, come with us.
The Bulldogs are in damage control, but Coach Ciraldo stands his ground. Already struggling so far this season. The story broke overnight. Brent Reid and Buzz Rothfield. A player walks out mid-session or after the session apparently and doesn't return. Hoops, can you talk us through exactly what has gone down at the Canterbury Bulldogs?
Yeah, so what's happened, fellas, is about 6 weeks ago, the Bulldogs are having a regulation early morning training session, 8 a.m. start. Now, one of the players didn't get there until 12 past 8, so he's 12 minutes late. Now, the coaching staff had already decided, because players had been late over the course of the season, that they're going to draw a line in the sand, and from now on, any player who was late to training, you have to wrestle, right, against other players within the team, okay, for a set amount of time. So the player who was late was made to wrestle with 8 other Bulldogs players, which, as you blokes all know, is regulation at NRL standard training, for 4 minutes. So he had to wrestle 8 players within 4 minutes. Completed that, no problem. Completed the session, no problem. Completed the rest of the week, no problem. Then the following week, a third party contacted the club and said that the player was upset and needed to step away.
So this was 6 weeks ago?
Yes.
This incident was 6 weeks ago?
Yep.
The player not only completed that session,
Yep.
he completed the week of training.
Yes.
Why is this an issue right now? Why wasn't it an issue back then? I don't understand what the big deal is right now.
Well, I think it's everything that's going wrong with Canterbury at the moment. There's no doubt there's some disgruntled players at the Bulldogs, and that doesn't upset Cameron Ciraldo. Cameron Ciraldo actually enjoys the fact that some of the players, some underperforming players, are struggling with what he's trying to implement, because I think there's an element at Canterbury that don't feel that these players are up to NRL standard, that they've whinged for too long, they've taken shortcuts, and you know that messaging from Cameron Ciraldo this morning was a line in the stand for the players. You either come here, you work hard. If you don't, you're out the door. And I can't fault that, considering the lack of results that club has had over and over again. They've turned over coaches, and what's next? We've seen it at the West Tigers a couple of years ago where Michael Maguire drew a line in the sand and tried to challenge the group. And
that's fair, but ultimately that got Michael Maguire the sack.
No doubt, but they can't do it again at Canterbury. The whinging culture at Canterbury has been there since Trent Barrett was coach. Trent Barrett tried to deal with this and was unsuccessful. He was out the door. Cameron Ciraldo's inherited that same culture and he's trying to draw a line in the sand. And this is the moment for Canterbury. This is it for the playing group. If they don't want to comply to Cameron Ciraldo's standards, they'll be out the door.
Right, you played at the Bulldogs, you won a premiership there. I remember going to Canterbury back in the day, Gordy, 20 years ago when Steve Folkes was the coach, right? And it was Mark O'Mealy, Willie Mason, Andrew Ryan, Sonny Bill Williams, yourself, and you'd run those crazy coat hangers around Belmore Oval and the Malcolms, and the ethos of the club was train hard, play hard, party hard. And that dates back to when Warren Ryan had the Dogs of War packs of the 80s. This club has been built on hard work. So that's why this story,
It's weird. So the wrestle, we had a thing called King of the Ring, and I don't want to go back to mine, but the game's supposed to be better. They're better athletes now, and the game looks faster. So you think that the training methods that we did would be soft, and they'd be training longer and harder these days, wouldn't they, for the game? We'd have to wrestle everybody, and the last man standing wins. So I don't think that a 4-minute wrestle is anything out of the box.
No, I think he's doing the right thing.
And sports science needs to get out of the game.
You know, like...
For me, no, just that sports science, right? What is it, 4K, and they got to come off the ground? Remember when Cameron Smith was in that grand final? 70 tackles. So what, at 40 tackles, he's got to leave the ground. No, but that's what it's telling you. So it's setting you up. So if you're training and they keep on pulling you off and there's no fatigue in you, and then it's not fatigue, it's fatigue in your mind. It's you getting mentally tough. So it's the mental toughness. So they all look like Superman these days. Under a jersey, compared to Shane Webke and those guys, like they look like superheroes running out on the field. But between the ears, that's where we got to toughen them up.
For me, it's quite simple. Don't be late. You're a professional athlete. Don't be late. You're getting paid big money. You're in the top 30 of a first-grade rugby league squad. If you're going to be late, you get punished. If we were late back in the day, we'd get a lot more punished than wrestling a few blokes for 4 minutes. You'd be doing coat hangers. You'd be doing up and downs. You'd be running around the oval for the next hour until
what's coat hangers and what's up and downs and what's
Malcolm's you got to run. It's torturous.
Aren't good.
Coat hangers, you run around one post, the other post in a certain amount of time, and you just got to keep going until they break you. But it's called discipline. It's called standards. Now, how can we be hard on a coach here who the team is underperforming and players are arguing about the training programs, and they're trying to set these standards and these requirements, and they're trying to change the DNA and trying to set the culture there at the club. This is exactly what you need to do. If a player's late, they get punished. If they can't handle the punishment, then get out the door and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I agree.
Like, seriously.
I got sent home.
Did you?
I was 15 minutes late once in my life. I run out on the field, Broncos started training half an hour early. Wayne Bennett yelled at me, and I can't say on this thing. I got so embarrassed. No, seriously, he embarrassed me in front of everybody. I go home, he rings before that. Why were you late? I said, you changed the training time. He said, don't do it again.